Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. Today's going to be just a quick update of the next event that's coming to Eorzea, or as I personally like to think of it as, my worst nightmares coming to Eorzea. That's right, it's the one and only Moogle Treasure Trove event coming up, the Hunt for Soldiery. Now, for those of you who don't know, they've had this a couple times in the past already. This is a special event where by doing certain dungeon runs, certain raid runs, you earn these special, like, Moogle tomestones, which you can then trade for some pretty cool items. Now, the first time that they ran through this, it wasn't too bad. What's the best way to put this, I guess? The only way I really know how to put it is that they are very stingy with their tombstones, so you have to run through a lot if you want to get, like, every little thing that you want. And for those of you who don't know, January 20th is going to be next Monday, and it's going to last until the launch of patch 5.2. We still don't have an exact release date just yet for patch 5.2, but they did promise us it would be mid-February. So if I had to guess, I would say probably either February 11th or the 18th, one or the other. Anyway, I do personally think that they might be getting a little bit desperate trying to keep everybody's attention because, and if you're like me, then you've probably already done pretty much all that there is to do right now. I mean, you've beaten the main scenario quest line, you've done a lot of the job quests, you've done a lot of the crafting quests, a lot of side quests, unlocking a lot of dungeons and raids, and probably already done everything that there's really worth doing for patch 5.1. So I'm guessing that a lot of you are probably right now just doing tombstone weeklies right now, or even just the dragon farming from Hades, Titania, and Innocent. That's kind of what I'm doing right now. I'm hoping that I can get enough totems that I'll be able to exchange those for the horns when they do come out, hopefully in patch 5.2. Anyway, this I think that they are just kind of throwing out there, trying to keep us all interested in playing the game at least until patch 5.2 comes out and they will be able to draw everyone back in again. So what can we be expecting for the Moogle Treasure Trove? It will begin on January 20th, which is next Monday, and it will last until the patch of 5.2. I would guess at least a month around that time. Anyway, as it says here, it gives us great pleasure to announce the return of the Moogle Treasure Trove. Collect irregular tomestones of soldiery by completing sufficient duties and exchange them with Itinerant Moogles for a host of treasures, including the Namazu Neckerchief, orchestrion rolls, and more. Seek out those tomestones and reap rewards. And you can actually just click on here for more details and find out more of what you can be expecting. So yes, here it is. We kind of have this emblem here with this cute Moogle bouncing around with all the treasure and loot that he won or he's willing to exchange for like these particularly valuable tomestones. I'm not sure what's so valuable about them. Anyway, collect irregular tomestones and get rare items, including items that can only be obtained from this event. So here we actually have two items which you can only get from doing this event. The first one here is a brand new item. They have at least one of these every time they've done it. So I think the first time was like a Namazu earring, and then we have like one of those cute little dog earrings. This time they're getting a little bit more fancy with a necklace. So we actually have this Namazu Neckerchief necklace, and kind of tacky if you ask me, but heck, I'm going to be going through it just to say that I have it. Also, they have a special set of fireworks. They have these giant stars kind of flashing overhead. And if you've done Final Fantasy V, then you probably already know what those stars mean. Anyway, the Moogle Treasure Trove is a special event with no set schedule. There are going to be many rewards, including brand new items, and other items that you may be after. Complete the objectives and collect the rewards. So here's how it works. You play through certain dungeons and raids, and by completing those, you earn these irregular tomestones, which you then trade to these special Moogles for these special prizes, and basically you just keep doing it over and over again until you get everything you want. In recent years, demands from collectors and historians has led to a surge of adventurers seeking tomestones, those mysterious relics of the Allagan Empire made to record and keep its secrets. Some small number of artifacts, unique for a particular sort of knowledge contained within, have piqued the interest of the eccentric, in particular, Itinerant Moogles, who come bearing rare goods of their own exchange for these irregular tomestones. So the objective, of course, is to participate in certain raids and dungeons and earn these special tomestones. And you can tell which one of these dungeons or raids which will hand out these irregular tomestones thanks to the brand new little Moogle mark right next to them. When you see that, then you will know that you'll be able to earn the irregular tomestones from them, and depending on which dungeon or raid you do will determine on how many you get. However, I should also point out that you will not win these irregular tomestones if you are going in as an undersized party. So if you try to solo it and you go in unsynced, that's not going to count. You have to go in fair and square, and you have to be synced, you have to be with a party, and you have to win the whole thing. So I'm afraid that jumping in like right in the middle of a special dungeon or raid is not going to count either. You have to run it from beginning to end. So which one of these dungeons gives out tomestones and how many? Well, the one that hands out the most by far is the Praetorium, which is the very last dungeon for like the original or Realm Reborn storyline, which gives out 10. So I think that a lot of people will be focusing mostly on this one because it does hand out so many at a time. And the only problem with that is you can't skip the cutscenes for that. So these days it takes around a good hour to get this whole little dungeon done. But at the same time, you do earn 10 at once, so that's really up to you. Probably the next best would be either Dunskate or the Castrum Meridiandum, which hands out 7 for every time you complete that one. So if you do both of these a day, you easily earn 14 altogether. Now, next up we have the Weeping City of Moc, which is another raid, and the RM Vale, which is one of the dungeons. And here's a little surprise, this is actually a PvP battle arena, which is the Hidden Gorge. And each time you complete one of these, you earn 5 of these tomestones. Now we're going to be moving on to basically kind of the bottom of the bunch, which is the ones that earn the 3 tomestones. So we actually have a handful of them. We have the Void Ark, which is the only raid, but for the rest of them are dungeons. The Sunken Temple of Karn, Cutler's Cry, the Stone Vigil, and Demile Darkhold. So you can participate in any of these dungeons or raids and earn a certain number of tomestones, and of course you can always just figure out which ones are going to be either the easiest, which ones are going to hand out the most. Personally, I think that a lot of people will be going back to the Palatorium just so that they can get the 10 at once and not really have to think about it. So they could easily earn 100 in like about 10 days if they only do that one once a day. I do think that they will be doing a lot more than that though, just so that they have a chance to get all the prizes and rewards that they want. Speaking of which, what can we earn from these? So we actually have a long list of items that we can exchange for these. All you have to do is once you earn these tomestones, you speak to one of these special Moogles. And we have 3 different of these Moogles in each one of the city-states of Limsa Lominsa, Gridania, and Udal. They're just outside the main Aetheryte crystal, so you just have to look around until you find them. Pretty easy to spot, and they will give you whatever you want, provided that you have enough tomestones. So what can we get from them? Well, like they said before, we have a brand new item, which is the Namazu Neckerchief. Again, I personally think it's a little bit tacky, but hey, if you want to collect these just for the sake of collecting them, just to say that you can brag about it, that's completely up to you. Anyway, we do have many other items that are up for sale here, including the Magitech Predator Identification Key, and if you're not entirely sure which one that is, this one unlocks the Magitech Predator, which is actually a mount that you can unlock from running through the Alamigo dungeon. But apart from that, it's really up to you to decide which item you particularly want. We have mounts, we have orchestrion rolls, we have the riding maps, we have minions, we have the gold saucer cards, we have the magic prism job mastery fireworks. You can definitely look these items up and see what you think. And for those of you who are wondering, there are some items that have like the number 1 or the number 2 next to them. They explain it down here that all the items that have the number 1 next to it means that you can only obtain these items after you complete the main scenario quest line, which is the ultimate weapon, which is pretty much the end of a Realm Reborn. And the number 2 is going to be items that will be available after you obtain the achievements I am the Sigma, I am the Omega, such as with the Wind Up Kefka, where you have to at least beat Omega Sigmascape first before you can earn it. But yes, I think that's going to be it for now. I hope that everybody is looking forward to the Treasure Trove event that's coming up. I do think that Square Enix is kind of a little bit buying for time, just trying to keep everybody interested in the whole Final Fantasy XIV until the next patch comes out with all this new fun stuff to do. But hey, I mean, I'll take whatever I can get. Anyway, that's going to be it for now. I hope you all enjoyed it and have a good rest of your day. And most likely I'll be seeing you all during the event when we're all racing through dungeons and rage trying to earn these stupid tomestones. So until then, bye-bye.